Hello everyone and welcome to a new video on the channel. And the videos are going to be slightly different. They still have the same videos, but slightly the ones that were extra will be coming out slightly differently as planned. I did intend on doing my ranking of 2024 films the end of last week, but I couldn't log into Letterboxd on my tablet at the time. Technical error to be able to do that. Managed to get in now for the weekly watches, which, as I say, will be every Sunday at noon. And then I think today I'll try and also get down the 2024 ranking and most anticipated 2025 and get them out tomorrow, Monday and Tuesday. And then Wednesday you'll obviously have my watch pile episode. And then Thursday and Friday this week, hopefully parts 3 and 4 of the watch pile collection should come out. If I get part 4 recorded, part 3 is ready to go. So hopefully that'll all go. And so it'll be basically a video every day this week just to get them all out. And then back to the normal scheduling of Sundays, Wednesdays, and the possibility of an extra video depending. I mean, let me know down below. Would you like to see me, even if I just get 1 or 2 things on a Monday? Would you like me to show them in a video, or would you rather wait and show them all together in a haul at the end of the month? Let me know what you think's better, because I'm more than happy to do short videos that just show 1 or 2 things if that's what people want to see, or if you'd rather wait and just see it all in one go, happy to do that as well. But yeah, I'll start off with, I'm going to go from the 29th because that's a week ago, so it's only fair week to week. And I started in the afternoon. It was just before I went back to work, the day before going back to work. So I decided to put on a long film. A few years ago, I put Lawrence of Arabia on Christmas Day, so I thought I'd watch Dr. Zhivago. And it really didn't disappoint. David Lean, for me, is just a master of doing these big epic films. I've only seen this and Dr. Zhivago, but I do definitely want to check out his other films now. It's an exceptionally well-made film, and Omar Sharif as Zhivago was just excellent. It is over 3 hours long, which for some people might put them off of it because of the length and what it's about. But it held my attention, and I thought it was well worth the watch. I also thought the score is very reminiscent to that of Lawrence of Arabia. It's just very sweeping, and it just pulls you even further into the film throughout. I just thought, what a great film. And it's just a shame that they don't make films like that anymore, because films back then were just excellent. Not to say films now aren't, but they just don't do films quite like that nowadays. And then on the evening, I decided to watch. Hang on. Bear with me a second. I knew I'd forgotten something. I'd forgotten to get the Blu-rays to show you whilst I'm talking about them. Stupid me. So I'll try and put a picture up of Dr. Zhivago. I have got it here. Whilst I was talking about it. So yeah, you can see. And there's only three others that I'll have to do the same for because they were new films. The rest I've got here. So next up is Unlawful Entry, which was one of my Christmas gifts. And it was exactly what I was expecting it to be. It's a decent early 90s crime thriller. It wasn't anything particularly special or groundbreaking for me, but it was overall, it was an entertaining watch with some very good performances, especially from Ray Liotta, who was absolutely terrifying in this. It's basically just a simple home invasion film, but with a twist, a bit of like a psychopathic twist, shall I say. And it becomes much more throughout the film, and I think it really works for this film. It's not one that I can see myself going back to all that often because it is very simple, very formulaic. You know what's going to happen, you know how it happens. But for like a Sunday evening, easy watch, only like hour and a half, just over an hour and a half. It's a decent watch. It was worth the time, and I gave it 3.5 stars on Letterboxd. I believe I gave Dr. Zhivago 5. I'll double check. 4.5 I gave Dr. Zhivago. Next is one that I haven't got here to talk about, so I'll try and put it up here. Through editing, I will take the time to actually edit this time, which I need to get more into the practice to this year. But I've got a VPN, and I go on American Netflix from time to time, and I've seen they put quite a few new Warner Brothers films on there from last year. Particular one that I missed last year, at the start of last year, was Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire. Just missed it at the cinema, so I was glad to finally get around to check it out. I think outside of Gareth Edwards, obviously 2014 Godzilla, I think this is the best film we've got. The characters in this were actually decent. They actually got a bit of development for a change, which is the biggest problem with these films. They don't really do much with the characters. It's more about the massive CGI monster action. And I really think the addition of Dan Stevens, who brings some extra comedic relief alongside the returning Brian Tyree Henry, I think that was very needed, because they are both very funny, bounce off of each other very well, and help the story go forward. The action set pieces, which is just a load of CGI, really, were awesome. They were what you want them to be. And yeah, overall, it's just a really fun time. It's one, as I say, it's one of the stronger ones of the MonsterVerse films. One that I will at some point try getting on 4K, because I'm sure it'll look, well, I suppose I probably watched it on 4K on Netflix, but I'm sure it's going to look even better on physical 4K. Overall, I thought it was a blast of a film, and I gave it 4 stars. These are out of 5 on Letterboxd. So yeah. Next up, we are on to New Year's Eve, and I only watched one film on New Year's Eve because I was working, and then I went out for a meal. So by the time I got back, and I didn't even stay up till midnight because I was just so tired after work, but I managed to get a film in before going to bed, and that was Strange Days. I just thought, what a way to end the year, this one. This is probably now one of my favourite sci-fi films, and I should have known really going into it that for me it was going to be something special, because I realised through the credits and on the back, it does say, that it was written and produced by James Cameron, and it was directed by his then wife, Catherine Bigelow. So 2 fantastic creative forces in Hollywood, and they very rarely go wrong. And it's the type of film, I'm not going to talk much about what it's about, because like me, I would suggest going into this film completely blind as you can, because I think you will definitely take away more from it by doing so. Ralph Fiennes is excellent as the lead. Definitely weird seeing him in a role like this. One of his very early roles, but very weird seeing him playing a character like this. He plays an ex-cop, and he's basically trying to get to the bottom of a conspiracy involving the police and, I'll say, a very influential celebrity. Something happens, and he's got to try and find out. Well, he doesn't have to, but he's kind of flung into it, and he's forced to try and get to the bottom of what actually happened. And it's very good. It's, the visuals in this are stunning. It's basically a futuristic film. It was from 1995, but it's set in like a futuristic 1999 on New Year's Eve. Hence me watching it on New Year's Eve. Even though it's nearly 2.5 hours, I could have easily watched a 3-hour cut of this, because the story and the world is just so rich, and it just leaves you wanting more. Just a really good film. I gave Strange Days 5 out of 5. Next up, we have one again I don't have next to me to pick up and show, but it was one I streamed online, and it's a new film called The Order, and this stars Jude Law alongside Nicholas Hoult, Jurnee Smollett, I think that's how you say her name, and Ty Sheridan, a few others as well. And this was the first film of 2025, and I thought it was a great film to start the year with. I really enjoyed this one. It's a very well made film, and it's just a methodical crime thriller, and it's based on a true story, and it really worked for me. Again, I'm not going to go too much into what it's about. I say Jude Law is excellent as the lead. He plays an FBI agent. They're sent out to this small town, kind of in the middle of nowhere, I suppose, to try and find out about this new emerging white supremacy group. that's kind of come off of the KKK, and they're doing their own thing. They're robbing banks. People are getting killed. So he's got to try and find out who's responsible for it, get to the bottom of it, that sort of thing. It's based on a true story. Nicholas Hoult plays the leader of this white supremacy group. And it just had me engaged all the way through. It's the type of film that I really enjoy. If you like these sorts of films, definitely worth to watch. Very well put together film. Wasn't slow, wasn't too long either, just under 2 hours. Good New Year's Day watch for me. I think I watched it in the afternoon. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And then on the evening, I decided to put on The Faculty from 1998. This is a Robert Rodriguez film, and this was a good surprise to start the year with. When this film started, funnily enough, it felt like something straight out of a Scream film. The opening was literally, it could have been taken from a Scream film. And then the credits came on, and it said it was written by Kevin Williamson, which connected all the dots. Obviously, writer of, I think he wrote, he's not written all of them. I think he wrote the first 4, maybe. He hasn't written the new ones, but he's obviously directing the newest one. But this is basically a modern take on aliens taking over people's minds, which was shown primarily in the 50s and the 70s in the invasion of the Body Snatchers, which is heavily referenced throughout this film. Our group of main characters in this are led by the likes of Josh Hartnett, Elijah Wood. You've got, who else is in this? Those are like the main ones. Clea Duvall, Jordana Brewster. Those are like the main kids. And then you got the teachers played by Famke Jensen, Piper Laurie, Bebe Neuwirth, who plays the principal, Robert Patrick plays the coach, John Stewart plays like the science teacher, and yeah, it's basically they've got to try and get to the bottom of how these aliens are doing it, how they can stop them, that sort of thing. I think Josh Hartnett, particularly underrated actor. I thought he was really good, really funny in this one. I thought it was very tense, but it also had some very funny moments mixed in, which, like the Scream films, needs really to balance it out. And I just thought it's a very cool 90s film. And when you're watching it, you can definitely tell that Robert Rodriguez has his print all over this. So yeah, that is The Faculty. I gave 4 out of 5. Get my words out. 4 out of 5 stars. Next up, we have 4 films left. Cinema One, and the last was the first cinema film of this year, of one of the last films released last year. So I went to see Better Man. I've heard a lot of people giving a lot of praise to this film. There's some people with mixed thoughts on this film. And I, like most people, when this was announced, it is a Robbie Williams biopic, but he was going to be played by a chimpanzee. I was very skeptical and I wasn't really convinced. So I went into this film and it started and it didn't click with me at all. I thought it was just going to be a really bad, awful film. But I want to say 10 minutes in, 15 minutes in, I was shown very wrong. And now for me, this is sitting at my number 3 of last year, which you'll see when I do my 2024. I'll basically be saying the same stuff, praising it. I think it's one of the best films of last year, one of the best music biopics, if not the best music biopic for me personally since Bohemian Rhapsody. Just sucked me right into the story. I didn't see him as a monkey. Well, you don't watch it and think, it doesn't put you off because obviously it's a CGI monkey. You just sucked into the story. It really takes you on a journey, which I think is the whole point of cinema. A film is the whole point of this thing, whatever you call it, is to take you on a story. The film just deserves as much praise as it can possibly get. And as I said, it's on number 3 of my favourite films of last year at the moment. Obviously, that's not going to change between now and me making my video because I'm not planning on watching any new films between then and now. But yeah, obviously, I gave Better Man a 5 out of 5. So, next up, we have on the second on the evening, I decided to watch Red Rock West, which stars Nicolas Cage, Dennis Hopper, Lara Flynn Boyle, and JT Walsh. And I just love these types of small town crime thrillers. A lot like Fargo, although this came out before Fargo, and it just really strives to do something very different. So Nicholas Cage, oh, I'm not getting my words out this morning. It's Sunday morning, apologies. Nicholas Cage plays a drifter who's going from town to town trying to find work, and he comes across a small town called Red Rock West, and a case of mistaken identity ensues, and that is where the story really starts to get going, and it just makes for a great, really riveting hour and 38 minutes. Dennis Hopper is fantastic, but I'm not going to spoil his part in the film because, again, it's another film that I think you will get more from just going into it as blind as you can. And JT Walsh also really good in it. Much bigger role than I expected him to have. But he was always great. He was like a great character actor back in the 90s. Unfortunately, he passed away too young in the late 90s, but he was in so many great films, always a great presence in any film he was in. I thought the script for this was excellent. It pulls you further into the story, and the cinematography for this one is absolutely gorgeous. Well worth the watch if you haven't seen it, and it's another great film to start off 2025 with for me, and I gave it 4.5 stars out of 5. Then, the worst of the week for me, and by far one that will not be staying in my collection, and I was warned about before going into it, but curiosity got the better of me, so I decided to just chuck it on. And that is Haunted Honeymoon. Yes, what can we say about this? This was just plain awful, just bad. Honestly, if it hadn't been for Gene Wilder, this one would have probably been shut off about 30 minutes in, because it was crap. The worst thing about this film was it was just boring, not funny at all. The story's crap. It's just all over the place, just pointless. Yeah, I can't really say much about this because I just didn't enjoy it. One that I would say avoid at all costs. It's awful. I gave it 0.5 star just because Gene Wilder has a few funny bits in it, but nothing to help me want to watch it again. So, very quick one, that one. Haunted Honeymoon. And then I was going to say the final one, but I did actually watch another one last night, but I forgot to write it up and I forgot to put it in the pile. So that one will be going into next week's video now. So yesterday, Saturday afternoon, we were talking in our group chat, or was it Friday? Friday night. And Sammy G, knew that I'd picked up The Big Country and asked me what I thought because he was about to watch it. I said I hadn't seen it, but I thought I'm not doing anything Saturday, so I'll watch it Saturday afternoon. I believe he thoroughly enjoyed it, and I thought it was a pretty good film as well. I thought I'd just kill some time because I wasn't doing anything yesterday. So I decided to chuck this one on because I want to watch more westerns this year, because of all of the genres that I have seen, I would say the westerns genre is the weakest genre for me. I don't really watch many westerns, so decided to start with this one. I will say I thought it was very long, and there were definitely parts where I was taken out of the story a bit, because I don't think it needed to be as long as it was. I think there were parts that weren't necessary, which was why I was taken out of it a bit. However, I thought Gregory Peck was fantastic as our lead character here, and the rest of the cast were really good as well, especially Burl Ives, who I believe won an Oscar for his performance. The score just takes you to another place. It's very Western. It's a score that you've probably heard before. Very upbeat, what you would expect from a Western of this kind. It's one that I would definitely give a watch again in the future, because I think it was on as a film. I think it was excellent. I just think it didn't have my interest all the way through. I think I need to be in a better mindset to watch it all the way through without any distraction. So it's not one that I'm going to go to that often, but who knows, on a rewatch that may change and I may love it. So I did give The Big Country 4 out of 5 stars because it is a very good film nonetheless. And that is it. As I said, I did have another one, but because I watched it late last night, and this is very early in the morning I'm recording this, I've just not had time to log it on Letterboxd, and it's not gotten in my pile for some reason. I must have put it away. I don't know why I would have put it away, because it usually just goes straight into the pile, so I know what I'm picking up to talk about. But yeah, nice sizable amount for this week. Plus obviously the few that I watched in cinema and online streaming. But that is it, 20 minutes. I think that's enough for this video. If you liked it, make sure to give it a like, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Have you seen any of these? Let me know what you think down below if you have. Yep, comment down below anything and everything. As you know, I always take the time to get back to anyone that leaves me a comment. And that is it. So until next time, everyone, take care. Goodbye.